mixing music, listening in solo isn't a great idea. So we're gonna listen up, and we're gonna talk about automation a little bit. And I've got one good example of like some automation that I really wanna tweak a little bit. So to refresh your memory, I'm going to pull up the mix that we've been working on. We're gonna toggle back and forth to start, and I'll pull it up here. Let's see, your screen should change. You should see my Pro Tools now coming up. No, yes, maybe. All right, well, you're gonna get yep, okay, it did come up. It just takes a while for me to see it on the other end. Anyway, okay, to start, we're gonna listen to the demo of this song. Then we're gonna toggle into the rough mix. Then we'll toggle into my previous mix. So just take a listen to this. Hopefully you have good headphones on. I will slowly pull up the volume. Here is the demo of this song, Dark Side, that we've been working on for a while. Here it comes. All right, so that is the demo.
A cool creep, a no sleep, bad habits from
And
trauma streak.
here's the rough mix from the tracking session.
Building walls just to get by. It's me, secrets and honey. Not sure
This is the rough mix. Turn it down a little bit. Here's the mix we had a couple of weeks ago. Some rough edits that we were doing. All right. Here's my final mix from when I made this record. Where's Ernie? Ernie's upstairs, snuggling on the couch with his mom. Okay, that gives you a point of reference. Here is where we're at right now with my current mix. Final mix.
A cool creeps need no sleep, bad habits from a drama streak, and positive vibe under heavy fire. We're building walls just to get by. That's me, secret.
Okay. I did this song in particular because I thought I might be able to do a better job than I did when I mixed this record. I've learned a lot since then. This is a couple years ago. I've mixed a lot more stuff. I just have more experience. So I thought, well, I think I could do a little bit better job. And I like the other mix. But so the thing that I have going on with this mix now is I think on that previous one, the final mix, you do some edits, and I think, the band had said, I like this, I want more of this, let's hear that. And right now, I'm not even worried about that, and so I'm liking my thing more because I'm not trying to appeal to the three people in the band. I'm just trying to make myself happy, and I haven't put any samples in. I know that when I mix this, I know I put a sample on the snare drum. I can hear it, and there's a little more reverb than I want on a snare drum, and I think my reverb is better timed. Let's talk about that really quick. So currently, I don't know why that happens. If anybody knows why it zooms way out like that, it's probably a thing with my mouse. But anyway, let's listen to these drums. I'm gonna solo them up just so you can hear the difference in something I've done with the reverb. Here's the drums currently. I'm gonna take the reverb out. If you have headphones, you can you'll be able to hear this reverb go away. And then in the track.
We're building walls just to get by. That's me, secret sign, honey. I'll
So to me, that reverb that I put on the drums, it's timed to the track. I'm not sure I talked about this, but maybe I did. When you're timing a reverb, you can take the tempo of the song, and you take the number 60,000, 60,000. That's 600,000. 60,000. No, I added too many zeros. 60,000. 60000. 60,000 divided by the tempo gets you a quarter note time in milliseconds. And so I have a half note reverb on the drums. And to me, it's perfect. I think the reverb before was a little bit long. It interfered. The half note is nice because in this song, the half note reverb sits perfectly. When the snare drum is hit, there is a half note time between when the snares hit and the hit again, so that reverb kind of goes all the way through. It sounds nice to me. You can shorten it up if you want more attack from the kick drum, but I like the way it's sounding right now. Let's listen again. Yes, 60,000. That's right, 60,000. 60,000. I don't. Whatever. Here's in the mix again. Now, we're gonna try this. I know that on my finished mix, there's some reverb just on the snare drum, and I'm going to add that right now. Snare verb. And we might add it only in certain places. I'm a sucker for this, so I'm gonna give it a color too. All the time, always have to do it. So I'm just gonna do a spring reverb, and we'll pull up, because I think that's fun. Spring reverb's fun on drums. We're gonna do the same thing. We've got a 1.4 seconds, a half note, and we want this to be splashy, and we're gonna pull this in and out, and I'll show you how I do that. So let's go 20 millisecond delay, and I'm gonna pull 20 milliseconds off of the reverb time. I'm gonna make it sound really wide. Here we go. If I'm moving too fast, I'm sorry. Here we go. Let's hear that snare drum reverb. And actually, before we hit play, I'm gonna put an EQ on it because I don't want any low end on the reverb. Here we go. And I probably don't want much high end on the reverb either. We just want some crack in the middle. Okay, let's bring it in. Here's from the top.
A cool creeps need no sleep. Bad habits from a drunk.
Cool. Okay, here's what I mean by automation. Now that we have that snare drum reverb, let's automate it. So we know where the vocal starts. That starts at measure 5 and goes through measure 5 through 11. So what I'm going to do is to make little events happen throughout the song, I'm going to take the volume of my snare drum reverb, and I'm just going to highlight its volume like that. Click, drag, select, and I'm going to turn it all the way off. And actually, I even heard my slider because I have a slider connected. I have a fader connected to that track. So song's going to start, the reverb's going to come in and then come out. Check it out.
A cool creeps need no sleep. Bad habits from a drama streak. And positive vibe under a heavy fire. We're building walls just to get by. That's me. Secret sign, honey. I'll show you mine.
Cool, right? That's the kind of thing that makes a mix really interesting, is a little bit of movement. Now that might be too much. We might just want it to come down, not all the way out. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and do that. Anywhere there's a vocal, I'm going to pull that snare drum reverb out. And I just click and drag. And that's how easy it is in Pro Tools when you have that volume automation there. That's all I'm talking about, volume automation. We're going to do some other stuff too. But for now, that volume automation, that's all we want to do. So then at the end, 48 through 54, we just go like that, 48 through 54. You know, I could even, if I wanted to, I could even put markers in. Chorus. Or I'm just going to put vocal. Vox. And then I'll just say same thing. I'm just tagging so I don't have to vase. I don't have to scroll again, right? And 27 through 29. Look at that. I even have a note for myself. Vox. And you can do this sort of thing. Like, I will do that at the beginning of a mix too. I'm just going to leave it. Vase is fine. Whenever you're starting a project, tagging where you want stuff to happen so that you remember. Do that with markers. In Pro Tools, on my keyboard, I'm using a key command function, the FN key on my Mac, function and return. There we go. So now I've tagged that stuff. Now let's just take a listen, and maybe we need to adjust this volume. Maybe we need to send a little less reverb. Maybe we need to EQ it a little more. I'm gonna listen again. Okay, there's a frequency. We're going to accentuate it and then take it out. Okay, actually, I liked it more with that boost and that frequency. Let's solo up the snare drum real quick. Okay, that's cool. I like that. That's interesting. Listen again. The other thing we could do is we could take that reverb and put some wild plug-in on it, like some sort of phaser or something, just to make a moment happen in the song, and then we'll turn it on and off in that moment we want it to have happen. So I'm going to take my orange phaser, and I already have an idea. I'm going to put it in, there's a longer section in the middle of the song that doesn't have any vocals. It's like a minute. So let's put super slow phaser on the snare drum. Okay? And we're going to automate And here I've got to turn the automation on. So I'm just going to say master bypass. We're going to turn it on and then off. Okay. We've got our volume automation, and we're going to turn that master on and off, only in that one section. So everywhere else, so it's off right now, right? Let's listen. It's still pretty fast. Okay, let's hear that with everything else. You following me? We just turned it on and off. We told it where to go on and off. Here's that lane. Maybe, it's not super important that you like follow exactly along on this, but it's the idea. So let's listen to the section before with the vocal. I won't put it on yet. Okay, we're going to listen to the vocal. We're going to try to hear that phaser happening. Okay, I like a bunch about that, but what I'm gonna change is where the phaser comes in. I'm gonna change where that reverb comes in instead of it coming in right after the vocal chops out. Like here. This one. I mean, you could get it crazier, right? So we're gonna put a different effect on. Do I have anything really weird? Yeah, of course I do. It's Pro Tools. You can have any effect you want. Let's go. Let's put a fuzz wah. Let's put a talk box on. Let's listen to that. That's strange. Why not? Okay, that's doing a lot. Okay, let's mess with the format. Now that sounds scary, and maybe that's what you want. Okay, now this is crazy. This is fun. So now let's automate the vowel. Okay. And we're gonna do this. We're gonna change to the vowel automation. So this is where like you can experiment and do something and you think you really like something. Like I think this is kind of cool. It almost sounds like all of a sudden now we've added someone whispering into the song that you're making. And they didn't think to add those whispers when they were tracking, but they're gonna be like, "How did you do that?" Right? So here we are. Let's hear it. Now, holding the command key, and I'm gonna click on the line, and we're just gonna have it change a little bit. we're gonna only listen to like one little spot. Let's hear what that sounds like. It's interesting. Some of these vowels they are not working with the reverb, and that's fine. I kind of like this. Let's hear it with both a phaser and the talk box. Well, no, the talk box is going to be on the whole time, so let's automate that on and off too. So master bypass, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to bring up the master bypass, and we're going to tell it to only be on in that section. So it's off, right? Okay, yeah. And then we're going to go like this. Now it should be on. One of those didn't sound good. If you're watching and you know like this kind of thing, let me know in the comments if you have questions about what I'm talking about. This might be a little confusing. If you're following along, maybe just comment and say that like you understand and you think it's stupid what I'm doing. I like that. Just, yeah, whatever. Here we go again. Let's listen from the top and listen for any other things that we want to change. Cheers.
A cool creeps need no sleep. Bad habits from a drama streak. And positive vibe under a heavy fire. We're building walls just to get by. That's me.
Ooh, I heard it. Undo. I don't want the low end of the whooshing. So I've added in that pick noise on the bass.
Just to get by, that's me.
But there's some low end, so I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to use Audio Suite for this because I don't want to automate it. This is like automation, but you're applying it to the clip. It's destructive, sort of. So let's hear it. God, that's abrasive. But that's what we're looking for in this situation. We're looking for abrasive. I'm going to put some fades, beginning and end. Same here. Now this should sound big and wide, but without a lot of low end. So let's hear that section again. Here we go.
We're building walls just to get by. That's me. Secret
Much better.
sign, honey. I'll show you mine. Hello. We're building. Hello.
Okay. I also want to talk about what that bass sounds like. I know the artist wants it to be bassy, thumpy, a lot of low end. I don't hear those notes actually being played. They're higher notes, and so it's hard to simulate that thumpiness, that low end, unless you play a note that's in that low end range. So if you're recording bass and you want subs, you want lots of subs, you need to play low notes that have subs. If you're an octave up, okay, let's talk about this. If you're an octave up from the low E, you're playing a note on, let's say you're playing an E on the A string, right? You're playing a note that the lowest fundamental pitch is like 80 hertz, right? 100 hertz, 110 hertz. Where is my book? I've got a book that has the Carnegie thing, and it shows exactly like the breakdown. I could pull it up on my computer. Why don't I do that? Carnegie musical note, whatever it's called. There's an image of those musical notes, and it shows like, the pitch that everything's playing, based on, where they are on that instrument. So let's say a bass tuba, 36 notes, it's playing its lowest note in E is 41 hertz. An octave above that is 82 hertz. That was right the first time, 82 hertz, right? So if you're playing anything higher than that, if you're playing, let's say an A, that's 110 hertz. There's no subs, no sub information. Sub information is 40 hertz and around that. So, on your low E string on the bass guitar, from that low note, you have your lowest E and you have an octave up from that. Those are your subs. If you're not playing those on that string, subs don't really exist. It's hard to, you can't use an EQ to make up for that part of the instrument. You really, at that point, you need to add a synthesizer, or you just let the kick drum do its thing. You'll have lots of punch in your music if you play down there. Let's listen to this part again. Okay. There's a lot of reverb on that, actually. Here's the other part. What about this one? That's where all our thump is coming from. The clean. And it's being masked by these other things. And, I've tried to roll that off. So, I'm not doing a ton of EQ here. I don't want to do a ton of EQ. You got to make it sound good, but let's listen to just, the fuzz bass, the fundamental, the part that was played, not the stuff that I added. Oh, there's... That's pretty punchy. Maybe what I added is messing it up. It's just high end. It's not messing it up at all. So anyway, that's my 2 cents on. You can add some sub information. You can attempt to add some sub information, but you're not going to have a clean mix if you do that. You need the note to be played at that sub frequency, and so I think you need to overdub a synthesizer. Just boom, you hit those notes.
Great sound, honey, I'll show you mine. Hello.
What do you think? Should we add a synthesizer? Nah. If I was doing a real mix, now that I'm thinking about it, I would. Just something that give that really low end presence in that section. One of our favorite heavy rock bands, Muse, there's synthesizers all over, and you don't really notice them as synthesizers because it's matching the exact bass parts. They're just generating those low end sounds. Okay, let's talk a little bit more about automation. So, what else are we going to automate? We're going to automate some things on the vocals. So let's get this vocals in. Hey, Jimmy. I should say hi to people, you know. Jimmy, we're mixing your part. And I just talked to people about how you play bass. And my thoughts, I just talked about people, my thoughts on how to get subs like you want them into a song like this. Synthematize it is exactly right. Synthematize it. So let's get back to automating a little bit. I'll talk about the automation that I've already done. Okay, well, here's the idea. The automation I've already done, let's listen to the vocal part. So you can see that I have vocals here. I'll make them a little bigger. My vocals are always pink. Always. It makes them easy for me to see. So here we go. We have the main vocal.
And I freaks into deep little sky from a fantasy and dark secret in a dark lie where no way
Now
out.
I think that is timed to the track as well. Yep, just about a minute, 1 second for 1.4 seconds. So that's timed to the track. I have an eighth note delay happening also, and that's the clean vocal. I also have a dirty vocal. Get a load of this.
And I freaks into deep little sky from a fantasy and dark secret
Together.
in a dark lie where no way out, so don't even try with me. Secret sign, honey, I'll show.
You might even want more of that that dirty vocal. And maybe in different sections you want more of that dirty vocal. I'm going to bring it up, and I'm going to use a trim plugin to do it. I'm not going to move the fader.
And up freaks into
Let's hear it in the mix.
deep little sky from a fantasy and dark secret in a dark lie where no way out, so don't even try with me. Secret sign, honey.
That vocal really stands out now. A lot more. Doesn't it? Turn it on and off. Here. You tell me.
And up freaks into deep little sky from a fantasy and dark secret in a dark lie where no way out, so don't even try with me. Secret sign, honey.
Now that is something that Savage Moods was afraid of. I say afraid of. They didn't want the vocals as upfront as like maybe a pop record or something that you even hear on the radio would be. And I think I wanted the vocals a lot hotter than they got, I think. But that's just my taste. When I think about like Queens of the Stone Age or other like modern heavy rock bands, the vocals are still pretty loud. They're not like overpoweringly loud, but they're loud. So when we talk about automation, here's something I automated. This part, you can see there's 3 tracks of vocals. When I got sent that, there was only 1 track of vocals. I cut this shout out of the main track of vocals and put it on its own track because I wanted to treat it separately and I didn't want to have to manually do a bunch of automation. So here's what that sounds like.
Shadows don't pay no mind. Flowers growing in the fading light.
Can you still hear that? It has a really long tail, and I worked really hard to find this exact delay. And let's get wild with it. This is one of my favorite things to do. So now that it's going, we are going to automate that sound. What do we want to automate? We want to automate the time on both sides. Check this Oh, this is the fun part. We're going to synthesize some cool stuff here.
He just shadows don't paint on mine. Flowers growing in the fading light.
Okay. Okay. I'm going to turn it off of... Oh, no, I don't want notes. I want to change the timing, the milliseconds. So let's see, where does it have that? Groove, feel, time. We want time, not note, Eric. What you doing here? Remove. Okay. Here we go. We're clicking the little triangle. We're pulling up the time. And once the sound has already happened, we're going to crank it down. Let's hear what that sounds like. Do you hear that craziness? You hear that craziness? Okay, it's still going. We don't need it to go on for that long, but I do want it to go on for a little while. So we're going to add the feedback. And notice I only did it to one side. Okay. Let's go and make it end. Just like this. Okay. Now, in the mix. Maybe we like this, maybe we don't. Maybe we think that sounds dumb.
He just shadows don't paint on mine. Flowers growing in the fading light.
That's not so bad. Let's do a similar thing on the other side. So we've done to this side. Let's do a similar thing, but let's move it slower and not as much. Let's hear it again. No, it's got to move faster, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. Okay, we're going to add kind of a faux like taper because Pro Tools doesn't have a way to automate that taper. Okay, and now because that generated some low end, I'm going to take that low end out of that delay. One more time. Let's hear it. I'm also going to automate the volume because when that happens, it comes to the front. And I want it to be at the front, but I don't want it to be that far at the front. So I'm going to pull it down just a little bit. See that? I add a little node a couple of times, and you've got automation. whatever we got to a point where I really heard that the talk box on the drums. Okay. I didn't even add the synthesizers in. They were in the final track. Let's compare. Let's listen to that section and compare with what we had when we did the final mix.
You just shadows don't pay no mind. Flowers growing in the fading light.
Okay, I liked my bass a little bit better on that track, so I'm going to try and try to figure out how to make that happen. Okay, I'm gonna edit that too, because that whooshing that happens, I don't want it. Here we go. B. Nope. Undo. There we go. I'm gonna bring up this clean DI part a couple dB, and that might hit my compressors a little harder. I might get what I want. I'm gonna do something I did on the guitar. I put a Sans amp on the guitar. I'm gonna put the Sans amp on the bass to like try and get some more punch out of it. Harmonic. It's Sans amp. There it is. Okay. Punch, buzz, crunch, drive, turn that stuff down.
I'll show you mine. Hello.
Let's listen again.
It never was to a has-been, forever chasing someone else's dream. Never got the world as it is, now you settle for how it seems. The secret sign, honey, I'll show you mine. Hello.
Okay, I tweaked it a little bit. I'm liking it, but there's something about it is just not doing. I don't know. Maybe I'll turn all these plugins off that are on the bass bus. Okay, the saturator is kind of like flattening it out too much. This tool is incredible.
Secret sound, honey, I'll show you mine. Hello.
Okay, I do think that's sounding good. You know, obviously, like I'm not gonna get a full mix when I'm filming in front of people. We're close though. I think we're pretty close. Let's listen top down, since we've only got a few minutes left, and hear it.
A cool creeps need no sleep. Bad habits from a drama streak. And positive vibe under a heavy fire. We're building walls just to get by. That's me. Secret sign, honey. I'll show you mine. Hello.
Okay, I know that this guitar here, the one we added to like the center, that's gonna come up a little bit for those hits, and I'm gonna do that with automation.
Hello.
Turn off our group.
Hello.
Cool. Just a little bit of boost. If you listen on quality headphones, you can hear that little bit of boost. I think I pulled it up. It's plus 3 dB.
And our freaks in too deep. Little sky from a fantasy. And dark secret in a dark lie where no way out, so don't even try with me. Secret sign, honey, I'll show you mine. Hello. It's just shadows, don't pay no mind. Flowers growing in the fading light.
You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna, for the last couple of minutes, I think actually it's sounding pretty good. I think it's punchier than my last mix, and it has clarity that my last mix didn't have in the mid range. And that could be that I've learned a lot, and it could be that I'm also like mixing on high end headphones. So it sounds great on these headphones, and I think it translates really well. So that just shows you the importance of mixing on something you're really familiar with, and that's something that sounds really, that the thing you're mixing on isn't coloring the sound. Because I can hear now, going back and listening, I can hear that this mix that I did, I can hear the speakers if that makes sense. I can hear the speakers and how I'm mixing to make those speakers sound good. Instead of the speakers giving me exactly everything that's there, I worked to make it sound good on those speakers, and those speakers weren't giving me the truth. So we'll talk about that another time, about speakers and mixing.
These shadows don't pay no mind. Flowers growing in the fading light.
Okay. Something I don't want to happen in that delay automation. So let's go back here to that delay. And this is the last thing I'm going to do, and then I'm going to sign off, and we'll talk to you another time next week on YouTube, right? Right, Eric. Yeah. I know you're responding, but you're just, you're not responding. That's okay. Okay, so here we go. We're going to do some detail stuff. Now I've zoomed in so I can actually see what I'm doing here. And I want to make sure that I don't go too far with that swooping sound. There we go. That did it better. So instead of me having it go like zoom down, turn the speed down so slower so that the pitch goes down as the delay is happening. I didn't really talk about that, did I? Anyway, if there's one person that's still watching and listening, I'll talk about that with a pedal to explain it, because it's pretty interesting. But the effect that's happening, you take the delay from where it is and turn its speed so that the delay time is longer. It will lower the pitch if it's already delaying something. Listen again. Here's in solo. That's much better than it was. I don't need the volume automation in there anymore. And I might even like give it some volume, and I'm going to use this EQ plugin. Perfect. I love that. I think that serves its purpose for what we wanted to do. Mike Teitelbaum. How you doing, man? How are you? It's been a long time. Thanks for jumping in for a second. I'm almost done. It's 8:00. I've been here for an hour. I'm gonna let the mix speak for itself. Here's the vocal before the delay slowdown thing that I was doing.
These shadows don't pay no mind. Flowers growing in the fading light.
Cool. I'm not gonna play back the song all the way through. We will. I don't know what we're gonna do next week. We might still be working on this. I'm not sure. I haven't really thought about it. I might take this song to mastering, meaning I'm gonna master it. But as of right now, I'm really liking this. So what I'm gonna do is look at this. I've got things labeled final mix. Yeah, don't ever label anything final mix. I'm going to make a new playlist, and I will call this new playlist Mix And what's the date today? It's September. Whew. Yeah. September 6th. September 6th. So 9/6/20. And let's just listen to that, and then we'll ride her out. Thanks for hanging out with us. Stream's done after the song's been recorded. This is how I make sure that I'm making progress. Here we go, recording the song.
A cool creeps need no sleep. Bad habits from a drama streak. And positive vibe under a heavy fire. We're building walls just to get by. That's me. Secret sign, honey. I'll show you mine. Hello. And our freaks in too deep. Little sky from a fantasy. And dark secret in a dark lie. Where no way out, so don't even try with me. Secret sign, honey. I'll show you mine. Hello. These just shadows don't pay no mind. Flowers growing in the fading light. It never was to a has-been. Forever chasing someone else's dream. Never got the world as it is. Now you settle for how it seems. Secret sign, honey. I'll show you mine. Hello.
Okay, now as is pretty normal, when you're listening through and you're like, I'm done. I'm gonna print this. I had a couple of things that I noticed that I was like, oh, I'm gonna change. I should change that. And I want to talk about that specifically. There's a couple of spots where the snare drum is played, and it's really fast. And I don't want that reverb happening. So I'm going to do it right now. It's right here. Don't want that reverb happening in this section. It didn't sound right on playback when I listened to the whole song. And I did those edits. I didn't listen to it. So let that be a lesson for you. When you're doing any work like this, make sure that you listen to everything and listen in context, like beginning to end. That's something I'm learning how to do. I'm not used to it. I just I'm used to mixing live, a live band. But when you start using your eyes to mix, that's when you start having those kind of problems. You make a change. You make a change to something in the software, but you gotta really listen to it. I have this thing that I do that I learned from a mix engineer, John Castelli. He puts his display to sleep. He puts the screensaver on. So, you just got to close your eyes or do something. Anyway, that's all for now. That's what Rick Beato says in his videos. I'll get to mixing another thing. We'll see you next week on YouTube. Not going to go live on Facebook next week. I'm going to start only doing lives on YouTube. So I will, post in my timeline that I'm on YouTube until it doesn't feel right to do that anymore. So thanks for listening. I'll see you next time. Bye.